All right, and welcome to episode 1 of Bronx Breakdown, coming to you from a Thursday afternoon. However you're listening, wherever you're listening, thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Patrick, along with my co-host, Dante,
What's up, guys?
and joined here with the rest of our Bronx Breakdown crew with Thomas
Hello.
and Xavier. So today for episode 1, we're going to be breaking down and featuring the Rider women's basketball team. So each episode, we're going to be covering and featuring a different team on campus and just breaking them down like our name says. So today we'll be covering the women's team. On paper, it looks like they've had a rough season. 8-19, overall 5-13 in the MAC. Currently sitting 10th place in the MAC. And kind of their season's winding down, and they're looking ahead to the MAC tournament playoffs. So lucky for us, part of our crew here at Bronx Breakdown, Thomas, he's actually one of the team managers for the women's team. And so, Thomas, could you just tell us a little bit about what you do for the team and what your role is?
Yes, Patrick. So basically my role as a manager is going to practices and the games, setting up equipment for players, taking stats, recording video. I basically also set up the water and the Powerade for girls during the games, and they actually like it a lot. And I also help out the coaches with scouting and whatnot.
Cool. And then Dante here, how have the last 2 games for the women's team gone?
Yeah, the last 2 matches we've definitely had some up and downs between the 2 results. One positive, one negative. The Bronx played Saturday, February 18th. They lost to Quinnipiac 59-54. Pretty tight. Rafaela Toussaint actually led the way with 16 points and 10 rebounds. Thomas, do you think you want to jump in on the notes for that?
Yes, getting into specifics with Quinnipiac. The obvious, the elephant in the room, we basically blew an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter while getting outscored 18-7. We fell asleep in the fourth, only shooting 20% from the field, which is our season low. We gave up 12 free throws compared to 1, so we were fouling more. And Quinnipiac did run a 1-3-1 zone against us in the fourth quarter, and it caused our very much offensive weakness. We did shoot 6 from 8 from 3 in the second and third quarter combined against Quinnipiac's man-to-man.
Yeah, and for their second game, they actually played today against Mount St. Mary's. Tight one. They won 68-59 in overtime. Can you jump into the notes for that?
Yes. And basically from that game, we were a week beyond the arc. We went 4 for 25 with only 16%. We had a 5-point lead with 1 minute and 30 seconds in the fourth, and we kind of blew it because we couldn't score. Defense was a little off, giving up a couple threes in the second quarter, but playing a little bit better in the second half. Michaela Fireball, though, stepped up and got a double-double, with the team leading 18 points and 11 rebounds. We also outscored Mount St. Mary's 15-6 in overtime. And free throws won us the game, with shooting 76.2%. The sold-out crowd also helped us a lot, especially with it being Kids' Day Out. And we all had tons of noise coming into the arena. Everybody was shaking. It was a lot of fun. And also, leading scorer in Mount St. Mary's history, Michaela Harrison, we only gave up 10 points to her.
And so, that's some interesting notes you've seen from their last 2 games. A tight game against second place Quinnipiac, and then a good win today in overtime against Mount St. Mary's. But overall, looking at the season, what are some strengths and weaknesses of this team, Thomas?
24.4%. We can hit free throws in the clutch. We can also come back and make a run at an important time. For an example, during Fairfield a couple weeks ago, we were down 12 in the fourth quarter. We came all the way back to force overtime, but then again lost in double overtime.
So, Thomas, those are some of the strengths of the women's team. What are some of the weaknesses and maybe some of the stuff that are holding them back?
So the main thing that I say is defense. That is a huge weakness for us. We have a very hard time maintaining leads. For example, Quinnipiac, as Patrick mentioned, we had an 8-point lead and blew it in the fourth with our offensive breaking down. Also during MAC conference play, we are last in rebounds and steals and have an opponent's three-point rating of 39.5%. Our defense is weak is because we mainly play small ball and Tony Blanford and Anna Eckerstedt are both out with injury. With that in mind, in opponent's 3-point percentage, we are ranked 347th in the country out of 350 teams, and ranked one of the worst defensive teams in the country.
Alright guys, we're going to jump into the MAC tournament preview. The Bronx finished out the regular season with 2 games, at Manhattan on March 2nd, and home versus Marist on Saturday, March 4th at 1 p.m. That's also part of Bronx doubleheader with the men's team hosting Iona at 7 p.m. Sitting in the 10th spot in the MAC, what can the Bronx look forward to in Atlantic City, Thomas?
So we can look forward to an upset probably. If we play Marist or Mount St. Mary's, we might have a chance because those are our potential opponents, along with Manhattan. I don't have too much confidence against Manhattan since we got destroyed by D.D. Davis and her 3-point shooting, but I think Marist and Mount St. Mary's could be our best bet for an upset. If we were to win, we would either have to play Quinnipiac or Niagara, Quinnipiac, who is currently at a 2 spot, and Niagara, who is the 3 seed.
And so, like you said, they would be the 10 seed playing 7 seed, most likely Marist, Manhattan, or Mount St. Mary's. But if they were to win and play either Quinnipiac or Niagara, who would have that first round bye as the 2 seed, what do you think the Bronx chances are against one of those 2 teams?
I honestly think the Rider has a better chance of winning against Niagara than Quinnipiac. Even though Niagara does a lot of pressing, stuff like that, we can still play fast and play their game and run up the scoreboard. When it comes to Quinnipiac, they are slow and they pass around a lot. But I think we can make a run that'll be huge.
And all right, so like we said, they're the 10th seed. They're going to be playing against higher seeded teams. They're going to be playing against teams whose targets are on their back. Our team, Rider, they won't have a target on their back, but they need people to step up in order to pull off these upsets and move deep into the MAC tournament. So, Thomas, from what you've seen this year and just being around the team, who do you think needs to step up in order for these upsets to happen?
So I believe that Michaela Fireball definitely needs to step up. I know she has a hurt wrist right now, but she does need to shoot better. She is underperforming, shooting less than 30% from 3. She went 1 for 8 today against Mount St. Mary's. She should be at least at 35 to 40% from 3. But if she is hot from 3, then the team is very confident. We are very confident, and we will hopefully win a couple games if she shoots very well.
Yeah, we're all rooting for her. We need her to pull through if we want to go deep into the tournament. It may have been a rocky year, but I think we have some things to look forward to. So thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.
For dropping some knowledge on the podcast today. For Dante and I, thank you, everyone. Thanks for breaking it down with the Bronx. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.